Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Mr. Chris Tobin, a representative of the Darug people, to offer traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Pujim Malunawul Nalawa. Good morning and welcome to the lands of the Wallamedical. I belong to one of the Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to thank the university for their acknowledgement of us and for the invitation to welcome you here this morning. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated, particularly by our elders. My family descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could be best secured if we could learn more about it. As such, he enrolled his daughter, Maria, into the Native Institution, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie himself, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. She studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name from. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today, and with good reason. Your progress progresses us all. Your advancement is our advancement. Now, that was perhaps more readily understood in traditional times when camps were smaller and clans abided by strict sharing laws. It meant that the food that you brought and back got distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the whole community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we do it properly. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly did in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives today. See, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 200 years ago, he described the people he encountered at Botany Bay as one of the happiest people he had met in the world. They were naked, they owned nothing but the tools they carried, they made shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, harvested food from the land without tilling the earth. In traditional times, everyone was accorded rights to the country or clan area where he or she was born into. So there was no homelessness and no rich and poor either. Everyone had pretty much the same amount of gear, what you can carry. There were no armies or jails or even police. No history of slavery or empire building. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands are maintained in their natural state. Rivers were clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them, as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. Now remember, this is not an ideal, this is normal life, normally. And there's no reason that we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoy. So I would say to you, expect great things from your future and your life, right? And do great things. There's still a lot of magic in the world. And if we share our skills with each other, I'm confident that as a human race, we can do quite well. Like I say, our ancestors have shown us that that's possible. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us now, so we've got to get extra clever. But that's what you people are here for. Okay. Right, now we can all do our bit. I'll do mine by getting off and letting you good people graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of us and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you. Welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, Miss Elizabeth Crouch.
Thank you, Chris, for that very warm welcome to country. Graduands, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my great privilege as Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University to preside at this very important ceremony today. First, I welcome our graduands. I hope that this will be a very happy and memorable occasion for all of you. You deserve to take pride, great pride in your graduation today. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind. You need determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. But that hard work has paid off, and I congratulate each and every one of you on your achievements. Today, I also want to especially welcome those of you who are sitting beside and behind our graduates as their invited guests, because you've all done well too. The very fact that you are here, the fact that you have been invited by one of our graduates to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been an important influence. So, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, cousins, sons and daughters, grandmothers and grandfathers, friends, husbands and wives, partners, boyfriends and girlfriends, congratulations and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. I have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates. I want you to make sure pardon me, that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in the bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our new graduates are too modest to proclaim their success, I want you to do it for them. The ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduates are wearing today and participating in ceremonies just like this. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world that can trace their history back more than 500 years. Not surprisingly, Macquarie is just a mere babe, turning or celebrating our 50-year jubilee this year. However, in those 50 years, we've come a long way. We now have graduates living in more than 140 countries, and in this graduation series, we'll celebrate the awarding of a degree to our 150,000th graduate. We're a very modern and outward-looking university. We are regarded as one of Australia's leading research universities and are continually progressing by extending our research, our course offerings, and our facilities. And we are always eager and willing to engage with the world around us. On your way here today, you may have seen the prestigious Macquarie University Hospital, which is used by our students, professional and academic staff in our School of Advanced Medicine. We are the only university in Australia that has a private hospital on campus. You may have seen our new library, which provides a 21st century learning and research environment, and more recently, our new Advanced Hearing Hub, which is a world-leading institute dedicated to advances in hearing, speech, and language sciences. So it's clear we're forward-looking and we're on the move. However, some of the things that we all know and value so much about Macquarie will not change. The friendliness of our staff and students that all our visitors notice and comment upon will continue, as will the access to our beautiful park-like grounds that make this campus so enjoyable. These things will stay in your memory and remind you of your links with Macquarie, links we hope that you will maintain through our alumni network. Remember, you will always be welcome. We want Macquarie to always be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And in just a few moments, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Thank you.
Deputy Chancellor, I call on Miss Bunty Caroline Avison, who's graduating today with a Doctor of Philosophy and has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Miss Avison.
Thank you, Deputy Vice-Chancellor. I'm honoured to stand here today on behalf of this graduating cohort. May I say I share your relief to have emerged at last, and also your excitement about the next adventure ahead. Personally, I feel enormous gratitude. We are privileged to live in a country that values education so highly. My PhD thesis was on the development of the media in Bhutan, a small kingdom in the Himalayas of just 730,000 people. The Bhutanese value education so highly that rural children will walk 3 hours through the snow to get to classes. Australia has supported Bhutan's aspirations for education for decades, providing food in primary schools, as well as hundreds of scholarships for universities in Australia. In the last Bhutanese government, 60% of the ministers received their doctorates in Australia. When the 5th king was crowned in 2008, we gave 5 more scholarships. Macquarie University has a particular connection with Bhutan. The former head of their civil service, Bap Kaesang, spent 4 years studying for a BA in accounting at Macquarie University. And while he was a student here, he won lotto, $50,000, which he took back to Bhutan in the 70s, if you can imagine what that amount of money must have meant. Australia has been regarded very fondly by the Bhutanese prospective students ever since, and Macquarie in particular has legendary status in the country, which made my going there a lot easier. I was welcomed everywhere as a Macquarie alumni. In the spirit of that Bhutan-Australia education connection, may I quote His Majesty the King of Bhutan, who every year addresses the country's 1,000 or so graduates, including those returning from Australia with their new degrees. He told them, wisely, whatever goals you set for yourself, as you go out to fulfil them, do so with the right values, values that enrich your own lives and lives of those whom you touch on your journey. Gain the wisdom to achieve your personal goals and ambitions, but in harmony with others, as they strive to achieve theirs. Acquire the right skills and knowledge, but remember that learning is a lifelong process. May I say congratulations to you all on your fine achievement. May it be the beginning of great things for each of you. And on behalf of all the graduates, may I thank the people who helped get them here today. Firstly, that is the teachers, to whom I am indebted, in particular my own Dr. Willa MacDonald and Dr. Catherine Simpson, who were kind, patient and wise and showed great academic rigour when I didn't. Thank you to them and to all your teachers, to whom I know you appreciate. Thank you also to our families, who have provided all the emotional and practical support along the way. To my wonderful and selfless partner, Mal Watson, thank you. To my beautiful 12-year-old daughter, Catherine, I say dream big. And on behalf of all the graduates, I say thank you to all of you the families for supporting us on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Bunty, for those very sensible and wise words on the value and transformative power of education, and also, I think, for your very willing thanks for both our staff and for your family, who certainly give up such a great deal to help make the achievement of your degrees a reality. And congratulations on your PhD. Please join me again in thanking our graduate speaker. As Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees and diplomas on those who have complied with the university's requirements for such awards. But before I do so, I need to make sure that you've done everything that you have to do, because apparently once we confer a degree, we can't take it off you. So I need to ask our Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Students and Registrars, Ms Deirdre Anderson, to formally certify that the eligibility of those here, that you've all met those requirements, you've been to every lecture, you've submitted every assignment, you weren't late for... Yes, I can see you nodding. All right, well, I think we perhaps better check with our registrar and make sure you've done everything you have. Ms Anderson.
Deputy Chancellor, I certify that all the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of Academic Senate for the degrees and diplomas that they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees and diplomas please stand?
Right, it sounds like you're off the hook. So, in the name of the Macquarie University Council and by my authority as Deputy Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those absent to the degrees and diplomas for which you have qualified. Please join me in giving them a round of applause.
Will you please be seated? Deputy Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts. Students and staff in this faculty work together within and across disciplinary boundaries to ask questions about socially complex problems, identify paths of research, analyse and communicate ideas in creative formats, and reflect on the skills and knowledge they will need to understand the world, both past and present. Students are encouraged to use their skills and talents to connect with local and global communities. This faculty includes research and study areas in ancient history, anthropology, English, Indigenous studies, international studies, law, media, music, communication, cultural studies, modern history, politics, international relations, philosophy, sociology, and policing and intelligence and counter-terrorism. Deputy Chancellor, I now call on Professor John Simons, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, to present the graduates. Professor Simons.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Arts whom you have admitted to degrees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Bunty Carolyn Avison, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for a thesis entitled The Voice of the Dragon, Emerging Media in the Democracy of Bhutan. Dr. Megan Hicks for a thesis entitled Pavement Graffiti, an exploration of roads and footways in words and pictures. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Communication with the Master of International Relations, Morinanta Yuli Arlina Situmorang. Wenqing Zhang. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Arts, Emma Jalstrup Balkin, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Eugen Gu. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Communications, Mashal Saud M. Al-Ghurabi. Sarah Batul. Jingqing Li. Ran Li. Kai Chin. Marilia de Toledo Abruzera. Wei Kun Wang. Richi Wu. Ron Zhu. I present the graduate admitted to the honours degree of Bachelor of Arts with First Class Honours, Vahida Abukazaimi. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Veri Angelina. James Mitchell Byan. Mitchell Scott Boothie. Matthew Peter Barron. Fern Campbell. Kamling Chan. Jingyi Jen. Zhou Yung Zheng. Tanya Hodashevich. Alexander John Clark. Patrick Carroll Clody. Elisa Cottrell. Kate Cowley. Mitchell Cruz. Sinead K. Deavy. Sarah Delavia. Emily Jarney. Carl Elliott. Catherine Engineer. Jari Feng. Claudia Ferris. Nicola Fraser. Jodie Gadd. Stephanie Garin Moran. Jessica Ann Graham. James Rowan Griffiths. Yuka Hayashi. Jung Yin Ho. David Christian Hopkins. Amanda Ip. Ashley Irving. Marine Jarvid. Zhu Jin. Mitchell Owen Johnson. Sebastian Kalos. Daniel Cow. Alex Colin Lai. Luke Edward Leonard. Undeng Leong. Janjang Li. Long Fei Li. Kevin Adrian Liebenberg. Shuhan Liu. Peter MacDonald. Thomas Richard Maker. Eleanor Jade Maxwell. Sean Lewis McNeil. Angela Silvana Miller. Crystal Mura. Sabrina Gay Maiskin. Junyoung Patrick Ng. Megan Joan O'Flaherty. Christopher Ogg. Rowan Kalev Gordon Pang. Michael Pasterfield. Sylvia Dominique Pineri. Hugh Lam Po. Mung Yu Jesse Poon. Jing Pu. Sarah Jane Richardson. Rosemarie Scarano. Rebecca Siri. Elena Stenkova. Matthew Sugianto. Jinwei To. Seth Tullock. Peter James Tuscan. Amy Rebecca Van. Jen Wang. Alexandra Wilson. Kit Yi Wong. Siobhan Worthington. Jia Yang Zhao. Jermaine Ho-Jae-Yuen. Rochelle Larry Olchin. Caitlin Rose Ashiak. Sorry, I forgot. The last two candidates are admitted to the graduate of Bachelor of Arts of Media, as are the following set. Rika Borthwick. Rowan Bosman. Paul Brescia. Samantha Margaret Cafflish. Julia Cavallo. Amelia Tara Chapman. Sienna Joy Cheshire. Samuel Glenn Koyanis. Amy Davis. Stuart Dawkins. Mark Thomas Dawson. Claire Marie Delaney. James Richard Duckworth. Hannah Jade Erkin. Jake Irwich. Matthew Raymond Charles Galea. Megan Kate Gould. Alexandra Gardner. Sukriti Gautam. Victoria Lynn Hartley. Ashley Hayward. Justin Rees Henry. Ryan Lachlan Hickey. Jennifer Lynn Hodinet. Samuel Philip Howes. Fiona Hull. Thomas Peter Ignace. Christopher Curry. Aidan King. Sarah Lakos. Samantha Lee Laurie. Hayden Lawler. Christy Lawrence. Angela G. Lim Lee. Alexandra Kate Lund. Lauren McKinnon. Shabazz Malik. Neelam Shalene Marnie. Aidan Masters. Angela MacDonald. Ursula Mellem. Christine Michael. Alice Marie Miller. James Miller. Daniel Charles Mill. Elise Stephanie Minter. Holly Lisa O'Connor. Natalie Penova. Alexandra Morgan Pickwell. Scarlett Savannah Roofman. Michelle Retty. Holly Ann Robinson. Nicola Savio. Stephanie Catherine Shalander. Faunga Joyce Shaw. Jacqueline Shinawski. Andrew John Blaxland Skidmore. Thomas Allen Smythe. Petri Swart. Kerry Joy Sidey. Eleanor Ruth Tankard. Phoebe Charlotte Tillelly. Casey Tomko. Lillian Trainer. Cleo Trifonus. Jade Marie Tuxford. Daniel Valenti. Ashley Irene Wadebrook. Olivia Josephine Stella Wenman. Sophie Watton. Nicholas Jeffrey Jack Ray. Benjamin Wright. Jessica Unan. Lily Zeng. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Media Jia Lim. Deputy Chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
One of the great pleasures I have, apart from meeting all of you, is listening to the wonderful Angela Brewer. Please join me again in thanking Angela. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank our musicians, organist, Dr. James Forsyth, and our wonderful trumpeter, Miss Millie McLaughlin. Can I also thank the representatives of our Alumni Association and community, many of whom are here today to help you celebrate this event. They're the people who wear the Ask Me tags, and they do a wonderful amount of work making sure we're all in the right spot at the right time. So please join me in giving them a round of applause. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Professor Catherine Lumby. Catherine is a Professor of Media here at Macquarie University. She has an arts law degree from Sydney University, we'll forgive her for that, and after graduating worked for 2 decades as a print and TV journalist for the Sydney Morning Herald, the ABC and the Bulletin magazine. In the 1990s, Catherine was awarded a prestigious Harkness Fellowship and spent 5 years living in New York, attached to the New York University as a visiting scholar. She has written 6 books, including Why TV is Good for Kids, I can imagine that one, Bad Girls, the Media, Sex and Feminism, and Gotcha Life in a Tabloid World. She holds a PhD from Macquarie University in Media and Communication Studies. She is on the Council of the National Museum of Australia and works pro bono with the National Rugby League on violence and sexual assault prevention. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Lumby.
Thank you. Deputy Chancellor, distinguished guests, academic colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, past and present, where we meet. Now, you may have noticed that I'm not wearing a funny hat, and I'm probably supposed to be wearing it. My apologies. But I lost it. Or more accurately, my children lost it. The last time I gave a graduation address, I put my funny hat and my robes out on the bed while I took a shower. When I came back, ready to dress, the funny hat was gone. That evening, I quizzed my family on the whereabouts of my funny hat. It transpired that one of my sons had taken the hat to make a video down at the local park. He showed me the video, which he had kindly uploaded to YouTube. The video involved our dog, Scruff, wearing my funny hat and being encouraged to bark randomly. The video was called Professor Blah Blah. My hat was presumably picked up in the park by other children and is now being pressed into service as a Harry Potter costume. Graduating with a university degree is a significant achievement in anyone's life. That's why we hand out the funny hats. And it's often an equally significant achievement for the parents who've privately wondered whether their perfect child will cash in their years of education early, drop out at the last minute so they can spend the rest of their life asking, would you like fries with that? I know about these worries because I have 2 sons in high school, both of whom seem to know more about YouTube comedy than quadratic equations. So I'd like the newly minted graduates to take a moment to applaud their friends, family, and any other supporters who've come with you and who've helped you through your degrees. It is a very special day that we're celebrating here indeed. Putting the effort into graduating from an excellent university like Macquarie is critical these days to getting a good job. Tertiary education now matters in all sectors of work. The days of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, as it was known, are over. While there are still people in the private sector usually who enjoy proudly telling people that they went to the University of Life, the truth is that Australia is a very different country to the country it was even 2 decades ago. 37% of Australians have a bachelor's degree. More than 50% of graduates are now female. Tertiary education is more accessible to Indigenous people, though we still have a long way to go in improving equity and in recognising our Indigenous people's achievements. And we're doing better on a range of other important equity indicators in our tertiary sector. Yet I think we're still not good enough at valuing education in this country, this wealthy and prosperous country, or in understanding how education fundamentally improves lives, not just job prospects. We know education isn't valued enough because real funding for tertiary education has been declining for over a decade. And it doesn't matter how many slogans politicians come up with about building a clever Australia, what we spend on the bottom line tells us what is valued. So what's education for if it's not just about getting an entry-level job? Why should we value it? Now, hopefully that's a question that a lot of the graduates sitting here can answer. You're all graduating with arts or arts media degrees. They're degrees that are often dismissed as not sufficiently vocational. Arts degrees, because the humanities is in many ways abstract and covers such a diverse array of disciplines. Media degrees, because if you listen to people in the traditional media, all the jobs are drying up. Not so. In fact, arts and media degrees are exactly the kind of degrees that deliver the skills and knowledge that employers want and need. They are degrees that emphasise critical, independent and creative thinking. They expose students to research and communication skills. And they encourage them to decide what interests them and make their own way through university rather than telling them what they need to know. When I enrolled in my arts law degree in the 1980s, I had no idea what a lawyer was. I didn't come from the kind of family where we mixed with lawyers, and I'd never met one. I fell in love with the arts part, but spent the majority of my law degree learning case law and regurgitating it onto exam papers. Unsurprisingly, I never practiced law. I left university to become a journalist in an era when degrees weren't valued in the media industry. When he hired me at the Sydney Morning Herald, my first editor took my CV and threw it with a great flourish into his rubbish bin. He told me, "You're a good writer, but we'll have to train you to understand the real world. You've spent too long at university." Newspapers today are teetering on the brink. Free-to-air commercial television is in crisis. The radio, in the words of a 16-year-old who was in a focus group I convened recently, is, quote, "something old people who've got to work listen to in the car." But while traditional jobs and roles are drying up, new jobs and industries are springing up. Some of them are being created by people barely out of university. More than ever, succeeding in today's job market requires an ability to think on your feet, be comfortable with rapid change, process new ideas quickly, and adapt your existing skills and knowledge to new environments. It's unlikely that any of the graduates sitting in this auditorium will go into a job or even a career that they'll be in for life. In a global economy, it's also critical that graduates are open to different cultures and different worldviews. And that's not just a warm and fuzzy statement. It's the truth about the world we now live in. People who don't understand or respect diversity are turning their backs on large swathes of their workforce and their customer, client or audience base. Macquarie University is a place that prepares students exceptionally well for the world they'll be working and living in because the university's core and lived values reflect the contemporary world. An excellent undergraduate education should not only prepare you for your work, it should prepare you for life. Knowing who we are is also about discovering how to think, how to choose what ideas we accept and why we accept them. Thinking for ourselves is about making conscious choices throughout our lives about how we live, and who and what we live with. Work and life are interconnected. The life partner you choose will be just as important as the job you do when it comes to your future happiness. For women, perhaps more so, according to Sheryl Sandberg, the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook, who wrote a fabulous book called Lean In. Your expectations of your personal life should be just as high as your expectations of your professional life. But I am confident that your time at Macquarie has set you on a path to high expectations and given you the foundation for a lifetime of learning, because that's what an excellent education should do. In the words of W.B. Yeats, education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. So go forth and burn brightly. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, for those words of wisdom and for reminding us of the importance of the interconnectedness of work and life, and also for the need to remain agile, collaborative, and above all, to be really effective communicators. Please join me again in thanking Professor London. Graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage of your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your association with us. From today on, and for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of a network of more than 150,000 Macquarie alumni graduates spanning the globe. We will keep in touch with you through our Alumni Relations Office and hope that you will come back here to attend functions, to undertake more study, which I know a number of you are, or simply to visit this beautiful campus. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. I urge you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry, to set ambitious goals for yourselves, and to continue the hard work that has already brought you so far. I challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous in offering practical advice and wisdom to those you meet on life's journey. My hope is that as graduates of Macquarie University, you will use what you have learned not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of the whole community. You have the potential to change the world, and we have every expectation that you will all do so. But in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. I hope that you will also always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom are here with you today. And so to acknowledge them and to thank them for it, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. First of all, I'd like all our new graduates to please stand. Now, I'd like you to place your degrees on your seats. Turn around to the side and to the back and face your family and friends, and please give them a mighty round of applause. Now, you can turn around now, but I don't want you to sit down just yet. Here on the stage are members and representatives of our academic staff who have helped you throughout your journey. Please join me in thanking them. The official party will now leave the graduation hall through the centre aisle, and we will be followed by our new graduates. I invite you all to please stand and remain standing until the last of our graduates has processed out. And then I invite you to join us in the marquee overlooking the lake for some light refreshments. Now, wishing you all the best for your futures, I'll conclude with the words of an old Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May sun shine warm upon your face and rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you.